I entered a tournament named Helldunk Hootenanny 4, and this was easily my best tournament run yet in this game. While it started off with a few shaky rounds, I was able to enter a solid groove, and we have plenty of great sets to go over today. The grind's really been paying off, and the improvement of these last couple months is really starting to show. But as always, before we get into it, I have to give a quick shout out to the community Discord, linked down below. If you want to chat, get some games in, or get notified when I go live on Twitch, go check that out if that interests you. The first round was against Crownless, a fish player, and I felt a bit shaky. This first game was a lot of weird scramble situations, getting clipped by fish special moves and just overall sloppy floats. But eventually I was able to close out the first game of the set with an air dash medium kick. And at the start of game 2, I started off very well. I used a lot of floats and was able to quickly take the first bat. They began calling this out with Fish's DP move, which isn't really a great move, which was able to eventually whittle me down and take my first bat, and I was feeling pretty clueless on how to approach Fish on the ground, which led to the end of this game being pretty awkward, but thankfully because of the early life lead, I was able to close out the set 2-0. I'm still not the most comfortable in this matchup, but toolset wise, QB seems to be heavily favored due to Fish's lack of angles to contest air dash, and that definitely came in handy for this match. The second round against Marek Maki was a QB mirror. This mirror match is always something. I don't really understand it, but also seem to do pretty decently in it. Overall, I just want to be the B who air dashes second, as being above QB is very advantageous, so utilizing things like float, regular jump, and air dashes, I generally kept my approaches a bit harder to gauge, and I felt like I was getting some pretty decent conversions. One bad thing I noticed when reviewing the matches was my inability to get out of the corner. I was pressing lots of buttons that just didn't work. I really should be focused on maybe up backing, using float or push blocking to get out of the corner, and it's where I ate most of my damage, but through decent mid-screen play in neutral, I was able to close this out 2-0. The third round against Eco, a Boletta player, was much closer than the last two, but I found myself playing, I think overall, pretty clean. I didn't have a ton of Boletta experience going in. I was thinking to myself how I really need to play around missiles and maybe not air dash into them. I played a bit slow and found using bubble was pretty effective at locking down Boletta and gave me some time to work my way in, and occasionally the bubble would even eat a missile. So whenever I found myself with a lot of space and not being threatened, I tried to get a bubble on screen. Looking back at the match, I really wasn't respecting much when it came to Boletta's air-to-air options and air throw, which resulted in me taking a lot of damage. I took game 1, but in game 2 I found myself not having much of the same momentum I had in the previous game, trapping myself in the corner, getting hit by missiles, and ended up losing the second game. So going into the final game of this set, I was feeling a bit off. Early on, I got hit by multiple missiles due to just lazy air dashes, and was even hit by one when I tried to do a ground dash in. They were able to take my first bat, but thankfully I was able to take theirs without taking too much more damage. Going into last stock last round, they managed to get a solid life lead and I was sweating. They ended up backing themselves in the corner, and I was able to clip them multiple times with some really high kick buttons. Keeping them locked down, I was able to quickly bring their health down to 0, just barely holding on and winning the set 2-1. Then we made it to winners finals of this event, and I played against a player named Crimson, a Wolf player. And while I know Wolf can be hard to pin down, a hyper-defensive Wolf player can be very awkward and difficult to navigate as QB. And unfortunately, that's exactly what Crimson did. I hit a brick wall. Unfamiliar with the intricate deals of this matchup, I tried anti-airing, which failed miserably. I tried meeting Wolf in the air, and it was just failing over and over. Not to mention, each beast cannon combo just destroyed my health bar with each opening. While I was able to get some stray hits from time to time, they were getting full confirms, and it showed. This was a brutal 0-3 set. Being knocked into the loser's bracket, I sat in losers finals in the hopes of taking another shot at Crimson. But before I could do that, I had to play Tech Bonus's Boletta in a 1-3 set. I quickly noticed how clean their pressure was, and how they controlled the airspace so well. They'd constantly meet me in the air to stuff approaches or air dash pressure, and on the ground they used dash to keep me blocking for much longer than I was comfortable with. I was able to keep game 1 close, but ultimately they did take it. Then trying the same thing over again, they were able to run away with game 2. So down 0-2, I needed a change of plans. I shifted my mindset and game plan and tried a more passive, slightly less aggressive style. I needed to play this clean if I wanted to make this comeback. Game 3, I was able to get a lot of little hits with jump medium punch, and I wasn't eating ton of damage myself with the use of jump back, floats, and just an overall more passive air game. While game 3 was close, I was able to get on the board. Game 4, I spent a lot of time in the corner and ate a lot of damage for it. I also found when I had the advantage, I was actually pushing my offense really well, as I was able to lock down Boletta. I could see myself really heating up in this match, and once Boletta was on her last bat, I had her in the corner and just melted away the health bar. One game left in the set, feeling like I was on fire, I was hyped going into game 5. Starting off the round, I was fishing heavy for jump medium punch stray hits, but it seemed like my movement going into them was unpredictable enough for it actually to work out. Taking that first bat with half of our health bar still remaining, for some reason I was throwing out a ton of CRs. And I think I was really just feeling myself at this point, because I think the move looks cool, so I kept going for them, even though it was most likely a terrible option. But I was able to walk Boletta back into the corner, getting hit after hit, till she just had a sliver of health left. But with a good string, they were actually able to take me off my first bat. Back in neutral, they walked me to the corner, but thankfully I was able to jump out, got a little string, and then got a little bit more damage off an air dash starter, leaving her with just a pixel of health. I jumped over a missile, air dashed in, just narrowly dodging it, and was able to convert it into a match win, closing out my reverse 3-0 and punching a ticket back into grand finals from loser's side. And grand finals against Crimson. I didn't really know what to expect. I got some advice in between the sets for my stream chat. I knew I had to try something new. Anti-airing from the ground was a useless endeavor. Neutral was much more aerial focused, so I tried lots of jump medium kicks, jump heavy kicks, but the jumping wolf was still just as evasive and punishing as earlier. While I played great today and won a lot of sets against some solid players, there is still so much more to grind, and Crimson was just in a tier of players that was above me, and unfortunately they demolished me once again, 3-0. It's very clear I need to hit the lab and figure out what in the world to do against this character. As the bracket concluded, we got second place, and I can't complain. This was a fantastic event, and I think overall I played great. Good job to everyone I played with. It was a super fun time. Honestly, I'm just addicted to this game and still have so much to study and learn. You'll definitely see me if they host another one of these. I think we might have one Moment Slice monthly before Frosties, maybe two. I definitely need to keep the momentum up though. The bee is making such fast progress and I'm really enjoying every second of it. If you want to check out some other tournament runs or video essays, maybe I'll throw something up on the screen. But as always, thank you for watching and have a good rest of your day.